Hello everyone and welcome to my Marvel Legends figure collection. I mostly collect the X-Men teams, but there are some other characters in here as well. So let's get straight into the first shelf. The first shelf is the animated X-Men shelf. So it's divided from left to right, the left being the 90s cartoon and the right being the revival X-Men 97. So we've got Professor X in the middle, which divides both sides. Then on the left we've got the 90s team with a mix of VHS, cel shaded figures and retro. At the back there's some enemies as well as Cable. On the right hand side is the X-Men 97 team. And at the back there's the basketball version of Gambit and Rogue, as well as some other enemies. And down in the bottom middle is Nightcrawler, which can double for both sides of the teams. And this is a shelf that is growing a lot bigger, a lot quicker than I expected. Now we have the main comic book X-Men team shelf, which is again divided left to right. Professor X is in the middle, and then on the left we got the giant size X-Men team. At the back we got some of the reserve X-Men and some of the original founding members, as well as Multiple Man and Moira. It's the first appearance of Dazzler and also the Mafex Phoenix, which I prefer to the Marvel Legends. Then we got the team from the late 70s and 80s, which features quite a few customs, and we're still missing some Psylocks. And at the front we've got a couple of other characters from that era, as well as an alternative Dazzler. What I really like to do in collecting is have an evolution of the teams, starting from the earliest to the latest. So continuing that theme, we have the Jim Lee team, with Professor X again dividing the two sections. So here is the blue and gold team. I'm still missing a few members, which I'm hoping to get soon. I have pre-ordered the Mafex Jubilee. At the back we've got a couple of alternative versions of Cyclops and Storm. And that Professor X chair I got on Etsy, which is really awesome. Then we got the Astonishing X-Men team, some members from X Generation, and a few other different characters here and there which I haven't really put into groups yet because I need more members. We also have this X-Men team in their matching uniforms. They've got their own little section for now. And then we have the New Mutants led by Magneto. So most of these are custom and painted by me. So these are placeholders until we get official figures, because the Mutants team is one that I really love and I really wanted to complete this team in my collection. So we've got Wolfsbane, Cannonball, Sunspot, Mirage, Karma, Magma, Magic, Cypher, Warlock, and of course Magneto. This shelf is the X Factor and X-Force shelf. So again it's divided in the middle. At the very front on the left is the original X Factor team. I'm missing two members. And we do have a custom Leech as well. We've got two members of the later iteration of that team. We're missing three members of that. And at the back we have the Marvel Select Apocalypse. Then we have the later X Factor team just at the back. In the middle is Deadpool, breaking the fourth wall by holding comic books from the X-Men series. And then on the very right we have the X-Force team. So I only really collect X-Men, but I do have some other Marvel characters as well if they make frequent enough appearances with the teams. So at the front we've got some Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Ant-Man and Wasp. At the back we've got Captain Marvel, Thor, and the Fantastic Four with She-Hulk. This shelf is a mix, so it's again divided into different sections. So on the left is Wolverine's section. So we've got a few different variants of Wolverine. Just behind him we got some members of Alpha Flight and Maverick. In the middle we got some outer space type characters. So we got some members of the Starjammers and Professor X and Lilandra, with some characters tied to them at the back. Then we got Doctor Strange, Captain America, Black Widow and Iron Man. And a few other characters at the back here. So first appearance Beast, Tigra, Spider-Man, Hulk, Firestar and Blue Deadpool. This is the Savage Land display. So we've got Soren at the back. In the middle is Savage Land Rogue, Professor X and also Magneto. And then we have Khazar, Sheena and Zabu. And there's also a little dinosaur there from the Primeval figure range, which I thought worked quite well. This is the main villain shelf, which I tried to arrange in order of appearance. We've got quite an assortment of villains here. We've got like the big Juggernaut at the back that was just released. We've got Doctor Doom, Mystique holding a baby Nightcrawler, Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike. At the back is the Hellfire Club with the Phoenix being unleashed. And then we've got over this side Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister, and I did have a spare Deadpool, which he's kind of a villain sometimes, so I put him here as well. And at the top here is some other villains which I couldn't fit on the main villain shelf. So of course we got Omega Red, got a Sentinel, Psylocke, we got Nemesis, and at the very side is Mojo holding Longshot. The Brotherhood have their own shelf, so it's split into two iterations. So the first iteration is Scarlet Witch, Toad, Magneto, Quicksilver and Mastermind. And then the second iteration at the back with Mystique, Destiny, Pyro, Avalanche, Blob, Rogue and eventually Spiral. This is the Age of Apocalypse shelf. I'm still missing a few figures, as well as the arm of Colossus. So just some of the characters here is Rogue, Cyclops, of course Apocalypse, X-Man, Legion, and Sugarman. And this is my Sentinel display, which was just released at Christmas. And I put a few members fighting him, so we got Storm and Marvel Girl at the top. Wolverine just to the side. Psylocke in his hand, which is the older version of that figure, so it gave me a place to put her once the new one came out. Then down the bottom is Iceman and Cyclops. All of these are either older versions or alternate versions, so it gave me a place to put them in my collection. This shelf is still a work in progress, so we've got a bit of a mixed range here, but we have the Uncanny X-Force team here. So we've got members like Psylocke, Wolverine, X-23 and Archangel. Over here we got Cable, the Marvel Legends version of Phoenix and the Blasting Cannonball. And over this side is Pirate Deadpool and the Infected Wolverine. And this is another shelf which is a work in progress. These are basically figures that don't fit anywhere else right now. But we got the original Emma Frost up in a throne. We got a version of a Cyclops in a different uniform. Over here is another Marvel Girl, Storm in a black outfit, Strong Guy, and the Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine. That's the original Juggernaut with his bashed up helmet, and the original release of Phoenix. And lastly, we have Thanos and Kang the Destroyer. These are figures that aren't really part of the X-Men series, but characters that I did really like, and I really like the figures as well, so I got them. And the same reason can be said for this 2-pack, which is the animated Dr. Octopus and Aunt May. I don't have a Spider-Man in my collection yet, but I do have one on the way, so that is soon to change. On my wall I have a boxed Retro Beast because I really like how this looks in the box, and I was able to get another one, and also a Silver Surfer. And on top of my display cabinets I keep the boxes that the VHS cel shaded figures came in, because I really do like these boxes, and it makes my cabinet look really nice at top. And lastly, here are some of my X-Men pops. So we've got Beast, Phoenix, which are the comic book versions, Nightcrawler and Sabretooth, then Deadpool and Pirate Deadpool, Gambit, Psylocke, Nightcrawler, and then Archangel, Bishop, and Mr. Sinister. Over here we have the Christmas version of Rogue and Jean Grey, and also Beast from the X-Men movies, and then a Christmas version of Storm, Angel, and Doctor Strange. And those are my pops. And that is my collection to date, so thanks for watching everyone, I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun putting this video together and going over my collection, so yeah, thanks for watching.